Hello, welcome back to Silverstone Shooting Centre. My name is John Thorne, and here our latest programme we're talking about practical shooting, specifically practical mini rifle. I'm along the range at the moment. I have my eyes and my ears on, and earlier on in the programme we covered the idea of start positions, where we started off with our ready position. This time there's a few other things we're going to cover today. We're going to cover a couple of the sort of start standing positions, but also some of the more tricky ones, including sitting. Now, generally speaking, all start positions, majority will be in that ready position. So, butt touching the belt, basically ready to fire, safety on, obviously in a loaded or unloaded start position. But the other more common starting position is called trail. Now, trail is literally standing still, upright, and you're holding the gun parallel to the floor. Okay, so now some range officers can be quite tricky about this, where they're looking about bent arms, etc. Technically, it's a straight arm hanging relaxed to your side with the rifle parallel. And on the start position, you have to go up, ready, and obviously fire. Now, I'm showing you this side right-handed. I tend to shoot left-handed, but the process is that you'll need to be able to do it both sides. Now, this example, one you can do is a trail starting with your weak hand. So I'm a left-handed shooter, so the position will be trail, weak-handed. So my start position will be like this, and then on the buzzer, I have to literally go around and start shooting on the other side. So it's quite a common start position. Obviously, it's a lot more complicated than the ready position, which is simply a question of down, up, and fire. You have to literally swap round and then fire yourself if you can. And obviously, a strong-handed trail position is actually harder, frankly, because you have to mess around with your hands a lot. There's no right or wrong way of holding it. As long as the arms are relaxed to your side, and as long as the barrel is parallel to the ground, it doesn't matter where you hold the gun from. I've seen people hold it from the optic on the top. You can see it holding the butt at the back here. Technically, there's no position that is right or wrong, but you've got to be careful what the range orders say. Generally, holding it around the front is where it's most balanced, but it really depends on what you've got to do. So, if you imagine from a strong hand position, I've got to bring the gun up, I've got to get my hand onto the trigger, and then I've got to get into my shoulder as fast as I can. So that's quite a lot of movements to have. Now, so this is something that's worthwhile practicing this, because this is one of the slowest positions to start from, and it's one of the ones that most people tend to get flummoxed and muddled. If you imagine I've got this to do with my hands, and maybe I might have an unloaded start, or I may have a loaded start, or a loaded start with a bolt forward, all those different options we covered before. It's enough to get your brain sort of confused. So you've got your safety, your magazine, everything else read in. So this is the sort of thing that is certainly worthwhile practicing at home. You don't need to shoot, you don't need to load the gun. I will do here, but in terms of for the purpose of the show. But you could easily do this at home, getting used to the idea of the muscle memory of doing it. So a strong-handed start, up, shoot. Now, the thing we've got to be careful of, and I've seen this happen before, is people literally throwing the rifle. Okay, so I can go up, and literally my hands, I'm picking it up, and I'm not quite, I'm almost throwing it. Okay, disqualification. You're not in control of that rifle if it leaves both your hands at the same time. You've got to have one hand on it at all times. So what we'll do here is I'll go through some now. I've got my eyes and ears on, range is empty. I'll just do a couple of practices in terms of going from a strong hand trail, and then same thing going from a weak hand trail. What I'll do is I'll just put a couple of rounds at target I've just got down range on safe from there. So start position is trail, so the gun is arms loose down by my sides, gun parallel to the floor. Beeper goes off, back down. Again, I love these rounds. Jamming every single time now. I won't say who it is. Same again. Safe position. So buzzer goes off, and I've got to go from this position into a shoot position. Parallel to the ground, goes off, back down. So what I'll do, same thing. I'll go to a weak now. So a weak-handed trail, holding the gun, arms relaxed at my sides, and I have seen, like I said, some range officers all arms are bent, keeping nice and straight. And again, so I'm on a loaded start with the safety on. Buzzer goes off. Same thing applies. It's a case of trying to make sure. Now, if you notice, it's actually almost faster to go weak-handed than it is to go strong-handed because of extra movements of the hand. So it's worthwhile practicing both sides, and I've certainly seen courses of fire where they're both in the same competition. So certainly worthwhile mentioning, worthwhile going through the process of plan of how to go if you can. Thanks for watching once again. Any comments again, please do subscribe. into any comments we have. And thanks for watching. Okay, cheers.